What up, y'all? It is Alex. We're doing an arrangement breakdown of Veridis by Daft Punk. This track is awesome, and it's very, very simple in terms of its construction. So let's talk about that. We're first going to start off by having these chords and the melody playing. Okay, so let's just talk about this real quick. These chords up here, they're just really beautiful. They keep repeating throughout the whole track. They're also handling some of the bass work in here. By that I mean we can literally, if we put like this auto filter over the master, so we're just getting the bass frequencies in, you can tell that we're already getting some bass out of these chords. So that's nice. It might have been on a separate track. I don't think so though. And if I had to guess. And this melody is cool. I just love the vibe that you get from it combined with the chords. It's kind of like sad, but then the track gets all dancey and it's just really nice. And I think it's neat too how, for example, it's kind of broken up into two parts, the melody. You have, we'll call it unharmonized and harmonized. On the first part, you have this, where it's just do-do-do-do-do-do-do, the melody you hear right away. And this is broken up into four pieces. You have 1, 2, 3, 4. You'll notice 1 and 3 are the exact same. 2 and 4 are different, mostly just due to the amount of time that these first notes are played. For example, just like a different timing there. The first part of this harmonizing melody kind of like puts you up feeling a little bit higher than you felt over here, and then you return down. And so this is really cool because in a way you have a 4-bar chord progression that repeats, but you have like 16 bars worth of melody to throw over it. And so this is like, at least through a lot of the tracks we've been working on, this is one of the longer melodies. And that's going to allow us a lot of space to be able to just repeat this part a lot, because by the time we get a full 16-bar cycle of the melody, it's just been a little bit of time. And so the name of the game here is going to be repeating this melody, adding drums, still just repeating this melody, adding a little bit of a mid-rangey bass line sort of thing, layering it with pads. Then we're going to low pass the drums. Then we're going to bring everything back in with more exciting hats. Then we're going to have a small breakdown. And then we're going to keep everything cruising and fade it out. It's really that simple. Of course, for all the people out there I can already hear saying, oh, you think this is so simple? Getting all mad at me. Well, yeah. The construction's simple. That doesn't mean everyone can wake up and make a track this cool. But okay, let's stop talking and let's just keep going. So, all right, first 16 bars, we're hearing that melody. And now you're going to notice we're going to start to bring the drums in. So at this point, the drums are kind of full on. Just a kick on every beat, snare, and some like 16th note maraca sounds. I want to hear one more thing. Sounds like there might be some more low end here too. You can even see in the waveform, because I'm not replicating this track. I'm just mapping out the original for people who keep wondering. Once we're about here is when really like there we're at like full volume. to just keep cruising on this melody. We're just going to repeat the unharmonized version. Now it's 8 bars long. We can get away with just duplicating that. So why not just hear it again? Alright, so you see what's going on here, right? Again, I said we would just duplicate this melody because why not? It's so cool. These chords sound great. Everything sounds great. We can hear it again. And then we have the harmonized version come in, so we have everything else basically the same. Because the harmonized version's in, it's a different sound. We haven't had the harmonized version with the beat fully in yet, so it sounds really cool and interesting and new. And that's how we're able to just kind of keep cruising on this one. So now to keep it interesting, I called it like a mid-rangey bassline sort of thing because this is something I feel like normally when I hear sounds like this, it's usually more of like a bassline, like do 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 do. But this time I feel like it's playing more of a role in the mids. But this just comes in, it kind of accentuates this chord progression, helps keep things interesting, and so we're able to just kind of keep cruising. We're just going to keep cruising. This helps us keep cruising. Wow. It's hard to remember I have to talk about this track because such a good vibe. So I put modulate here because you'll notice you're going to start to hear, it sounds like they're probably messing with the filter a bit, which helps the filter on the synthesizer that helps change the sound of the synth as it goes. So especially here, you can start to hear it kind of like judder in a little bit more. Listen for that. I just point that out because those little variations are going to help keep this whole thing interesting because, again, if you just had the exact same loop repeating continuously... Oh, I have to answer this. Alright, so you can kind of really hear that coming in. And now we're getting some like of this really classic phasery pad entering the game too, which is going to help keep this interesting too. It sounds like I'm guessing it's the same chords or it's just like an inversion of the chords, probably. I didn't check exactly. But basically these pads come in, they sound amazing. And if you want to get some similar sound to that, there's this free synth, I'll put the link in the description, called Synth 1. And it has these phasers here. And basically it sounds really like you can get this really classic-y, like vintage phaser sound out of this synth. So just food for thought. If you're really digging the sound of this, then maybe get that synth. But okay, we're going to keep cruising on this melody. You'll notice here we get the first half of the harmonized melody and then it drops down to the unharmonized melody. Just kind of interesting because I think that's the only time this happens in the track. But yeah, essentially we're just going to keep cruising here. Now we have the pads come in, the phasered pads come in, and then they're at full volume around here. We just keep cruising, alternating melodies, eventually to this point where the drums are going to start to be low passed, which means a lot of their high frequencies are taken out, and then they're going to come back in with the 16th note hats. And yeah, so let's just hear for that. All right, I'm going to let it play out. But just real quick. Really good, right? So, again, the spaceline mid-rangey thing's modulating for so much of the time. And if you go ahead and take like a low-pass filter on the master, you'll notice that it doesn't sound like that this thing has that much bass influence or like sub-influence. I think there's a little bit. I'm just listening on my headphones pretty loudly, but that's why, to me, I feel like I get more out of it with its mid-range. But basically, you'll notice on this little breakdown part that the snare turns into a clap. If I had to guess, there probably is a clap layered with the snare the whole time. And then just on the breakdown, they take out the snare. And so you just get a less dramatic clap, or a less dramatic 2/4, because it's just part of the layering, which is the clap. That's just a way to keep the pace going by keeping that percussion in, but have it in a less intense form. Then you bring everything back. You keep switching between unharmonized and harmonized, and you fade it out. And it's great. If you're a producer, hopefully you can use this like kind of format and maybe try and make a track using a similar form or like composition of pieces. As you can see, it's pretty simple here in terms of the amount of tracks going on. So yeah, maybe get a couple chord tracks, a nice little melody, a nice third like counter melody, I guess you might call this, and some drums. Arrange it well, make it happen. I think I'm going to be launching a Patreon soon. I might already have it launched, so if you feel like showing some support, because I don't it takes a lot of time to make these videos, and that'd be cool if you want to support a little bit, then check the link in the description for that. I have a new track coming out on March 23rd of 2021. It's a release through this channel / label Response. The track is called Sitting at Home, and if you would pre-save that on Spotify, that'd be amazing. We're also going to be releasing it on floppy disk, so there will be 10 copies on floppy disk coming out as well. So just keep an eye out for that. Please follow me on Instagram, on SoundCloud, Bandcamp, Spotify. There's a pre-save link to the Spotify link below, so if you want to hear that track, then click that link. And if you enjoyed this video, please click that link too. So you can hear the track and you can just, help show a little love. You know what I'm saying? Help show a little support there. And yeah, so I'll let this play out. Thanks again, and peace.